As you guys are checking in, we got some breaking news in the boxing world from the horse's mouth himself. Boxing, you guys know, is filled with rumors, clickbait, content creators. Jaron Ennis has his first fight at 154. He shared it on his Instagram story. I shared it in our Discord and on our group. He's fighting Usman Lima in October. Another Philadelphia fight for Jaron. And a couple fights ago, right before Ennis signed with Matchroom, I said that the one thing holding Jaron Ennis and his camp back was promotion. And we got to think that not all fighters have their career trajectory skyrocket when they sign with a big promoter. We know that. Sometimes they get shelved. Sometimes it doesn't go their route. This Jaron Ennis experiment thus far with Eddie Hearn, he's having another Philadelphia homecoming. So at the end of the day, that's great news. So he's headlining another Philadelphia event. With that, we know comes the local economy. We know he sells out the Wells Fargo in Philly every time he fights there. We know he puts his guys who fight with him on his undercard. We know that he has his own promotional company. So that is a bit of breaking news. That's going down October 11th. Jaron Ennis versus Usman Lima, his first fight at 154. Shared from himself. Go to his Instagram, and it's live on BoxRec. That being said, wherever you guys are tapping in, welcome to the live stream. It's our first live stream of the day. My Tuesday morning at 6:30. We're gonna be going live again one other time, and I'm uploading my Nick Ball versus Sam Goodman prediction today. I've been flip-flopping, so I've noticed it's become kind of a sexy pick, a sort of upset of the week pick for picking Sam Goodman. He is currently, the odds have shifted. He was a close to 6-1 dog maybe 2 days ago. Now he is at a $4.80. So almost a 4-1 dog. Now, I'm actually leaning more towards Nick Ball now, just to give you guys a heads up. What's up, Brendan Veter in the house? Goat, I went to the Karen rematch. Hopefully the undercard is good too. Goat's in the house. Mar the Prince, Ohio. Usman Lima is the IBO champ, number 10 in WBA, number 9. Yeah, it's a good fight. I agree, Mar the Prince. Mar the Prince. Christian, what's up, buddy? Australia. Yep, let's get this thing popping. So yeah, a couple minutes into the live stream. Let me guys know where you're tapping in from. Let me know what you think about the headline. Obviously, we got fights right in front of us. We got the big card in Riyadh. We got the card, the Pro Box card that I'm not getting any betting options for. So it's hard for me to give my opinion in terms of where to put our money on the Pro Box card. The only options I'm getting is the Riyadh card and the RG Cortez and Andrew Maloney fight. Other than that, I got the Tsutsumi, Hergovich, Raymond Ford, Nick Ball, and Moses fights. I think the same with all you guys. I am going to give you guys my picks on, because we have become quite of a hybrid channel as of late regarding you guys finding out my MMA picks. So there is Dana White Contender Series tomorrow. I'm going to put those picks up in the Discord. So if you want to take advantage of my UFC and MMA picks, we've hit 21 in a row over the last 2 weeks. The only way you get those picks, you got to join the Discord. It's only a couple bucks a month. That link is pinned in the comments here. If you see all the boys with the blue stars like Nazo, like Christian, like Mar the Prince, like Goat, like Boxing Fan, they're in the Discord. Join on YouTube, a couple bucks a month. Go to the Discord. I'll be posting my UFC picks for tomorrow's card. UFC Dana White Contender Series episode 1 of the new season starts tomorrow. Pedro, what's up? Thoughts on Michael Hunter? Let me get to Mar real quick. Mar says, what swayed you in leaning toward the ball? You know what swayed me, Mar? A couple things. Now, you guys, I'm not trying to make you guys lean this way. I have to look at my own patterns of betting in terms of my wins and losses. And excluding Jai Apataya, which was pretty much a no-brainer every time he fights, especially by stoppage, and excluding Australian domestic fights, which we generally will always hit, especially the ones I get to go to live. The last 2 live events I've gone to I've hit 17 in a row. Every time an Aussie has fought at the world level recently, Tim Tszyu, I bet for. George Kambosos, I obviously took Hitchens. Goodman. Now, I don't know if it was recency bias on my end. I don't know if it's a little bit of loyalty without really coming to terms with the loyalty. Me being in Australia, me seeing Sam Goodman fight the last 4 years of his career in person. He's from about an hour south of where I live. I don't know if it's about the odds, me getting sort of big-eyed or honey-dicked, or wanting to be sort of a contrarian and be this sort of guy who picks upsets. The more I've seen the tape and the more I've broken it down, I don't see it. I think those odds are fair. I think Goodman at $4.80 are fair. I think Ball, I think he's just going to be too aggressive. I think Ball's going to be too much. I don't know if Goodman is going to be able to keep up with Ball. Now, look, if Nick Ball was just coming at Sam Goodman with his engine for 4 rounds, and we've seen a history of Nick Ball fading, right? It's almost like you see sort of light heavyweights sometimes, or heavyweights, and they start, the narrative on their career is like, dude, you got to just avoid them the first 4 rounds, get through their power, drag them into deep water, and then you could get them. They'll be yours to be had, per se. Nick Ball's not that. When you watch him fight, he doesn't disappear at all, dude. He doesn't disappear at all. So what I was saying before, that I thought that Goodman could win from the outside and win more rounds and sort of outbox him from the outside, that would be the case if for Goodman to do that, he then also has to keep Ball off of him. When we think about stylistic matchups, how does a boxer at range become successful in keeping a front forward volume guy off of them? How? Accuracy and power. You got to use lateral movement, you got to use timing, you got to use setups. But the minute the aggressive fighter on the front foot feels there is no danger coming back at them regarding, getting caught with that first one coming in, I think Nick Ball is going to take as many as he needs to come in. He's going to be more athletic than Sam Goodman, more explosive than Sam Goodman. He has more power than Sam Goodman. When I think about the pros and cons, and the more I sit with this, like I said, initially it was a sexy pick. The odds were crazy. I was going to sit with it and I could tell you guys, hey man, I'm going to take Sam Goodman, and he's such a big underdog. And if he loses, that's, I should have lost. I'm not doing my show. That's not why I do my show. My channel is specifically not to throw up Hail Mary passes, and if I pick an underdog 1 out of 10 and lose 9, I'm the man. Yeah, but what about the 9 I lost? You know what I'm saying? I already did that recently. I lost a big underdog just this past Friday in Australia. I picked John Manu to lose 3-1. That still bothers me, that loss. I don't like losing. I don't like picking based on odds. I'm definitely not picking Nick Ball because he's the favorite. I'm picking Nick Ball because I think he's going to be too much. I think the offensive game presents too much of a problem for Sam Goodman to solve, and that's where I'll be at. Pretty sure, I'm about 90% sure I'm taking Ball. What's up, Money Meach? A lot of leaping hooks using his offense. Blue collar, Goodman has a good C-step to offset Ball's pressure, but Goodman becomes stationary as he gets tired. I'm picking Goodman to win. Teach, get after it, brother. Another thing. Watch Caesar. I was pretty much ringside to the Caesar Vaca fight, Sam's last fight. This is a kid who flew from Tijuana or somewhere in Mexico. I don't know if he was from TJ. Might have been Sinaloa. Didn't really have time to acclimate. For all intents purposes, didn't really have a huge training camp. And he fought Goodman well. People were saying they fought at 126. Both guys weighed in at 123. So they wouldn't get sort of sanctioned for missing the 122 mark. It was dubbed a fight at 126. So people are like, this is Sam's second fight at 126. Take what you want about the 4 pounds. Caesar and Sam both weighed in at 123 in that fight. Sam didn't really, Goodman didn't do what he wanted with Vaca. It wasn't like Vaca was in danger at all. And because I watched it live, I really wasn't able to kind of rewind and sort of dissect. I was, and I had, money on the card. It was a 22-1. My buddy bet $1,000 to win 22,000. That was the last fight. I was watching it kind of with biased eyes, and he won. When I rewatched the tape, I was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if Sam was playing with his food. I don't know if Cesar Vaca was just better than I thought he was. Cesar Vaca is not Nick Ball. Yeah. I think, yeah. So that's where I'm at right now. I think the odds are fair, 480 and 122. I think the question is going to be, does the fight go the distance or not? Does Ball win a decision or does Ball win by stoppage? I think that's going to be the decision. I just don't see a path to victory. Initially, the path to victory for me was going to be Goodman being able to outbox him, and that's what I was trying to sell myself on. I just don't see it now. Julius washed Ronnie Rose, went 11 rounds of Ball. See, this is what we're talking about, because like I'm, I try. I am as transparent as anyone could be with you guys. The last thing I'm ever going to do is try to persuade anybody to change their pick. And the last thing I'm ever going to do is try to pick winners based on trends. And I was the one all week saying I was taking Goodman. But, because I'm the last 12 hours film study, editing, I'm about to upload my pick. I was like, man, do I just die on this hill and just say that if I'm going to stick with my Goodman pick, and then if I lose, I could just say I should have lost? Or what am I really seeing here? I don't like losing. I'm picking a winner. I think Nick Ball, for me, logically, I think that's what I'm seeing right now. 12 rounds is a long time ago to go against that type of stuff. You don't have respect pop for the guy. 12 rounds is a long time to go against that type of stuff. Exactly. Ball stoppages usually come to 10 to 12. Next question, does he stop Goodman? That's the good question, Adu. What's up, Johnny? At work currently. Thank God you came on. I think even though Dunn White can go past 4.5. We'll get there in a second, Sal. Yeah, so Dillian White, Hrgovic. I like what I'm seeing in the media, actually. I like what I'm seeing, all the interviews I've seen with Dillian White, but it's just hard to get past him being 37 years old. Julius Wash, Ronnie Rios went 11. Pedro says Goodman is not much bigger than Ball and isn't known for having a respectable pop. He's a very good boxer, but I don't know. I think you need a respectful pop. I think so too. And you know what? He doesn't really take the wheel. Another thing about Goodman, he's not really known for like flattening your tires. You know what I'm saying? So like if Ball isn't worried about power coming back at him up top, and he's not worried about Goodman really investing in the body and breaking him down below, and Ball's style, dude, it's hard to get him in the ribs. He's so short anyway. And he's all folded here. You know what? I think Ball stops him. I got to be honest with you guys. I think Nick Ball stops Goodman. The more that I think about it. Sal, hit that bell. Yeah, hit the bell notification, boys. Better tell Gary 3D he's gonna lose. Well, I texted Muscle and them. Look, I'm not one to want to change anybody's pick. I don't do this to tell you to second guess your pick. Like I said, the only reason I'm doing my channel is because sometimes people listen to what I say. And I know some of you guys bet a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So some of you guys are betting a lot of money. So a lot of your bets are kind of be intuitive picks. And then also, I know a guy, one of my buddies, he's super superstitious, really superstitious about his betting. So he'll tell me, Johnny, even if you disagree with me, don't tell me until after. I'm like, all right. And then I have another buddy who's like, Johnny, if you don't agree with my picks, tell me so I could change them. And then I'm like, all right. So we're all grown men here. Really sitting with this matchup, boys. Really sitting with what Nick Ball does, how he's done it, disregarding close decisions, where his record stands, who he's fought, how he fights, stylistically. Then you take in Sam Goodman, where his path to get to where he is right now. I also think Goodman is actually the more desperate fighter. Got to be honest with you. Like, did you guys see the interview Goodman gave before the Caesar Vaca fight about having no money? Go to YouTube, type in Sam Goodman broke, or Sam Goodman either broke, comma, no anyway. Like, he was talking about the regrets from getting that cut and how he was literally just let $1 million go down the tubes, and how he had no money, all this stuff. And it's not, for me, it's not a comfortable pick. It just, picking Sam to win doesn't feel right with me. EV 44 ounce. Just a heads up, if you pick Goodman, might as well choose by decision. Joel O in the house. What's up, buddy? Brendan, ball on points is looking good to me. Yeah. So right now, if you take ball on the money line, he's $1.22. Ball on points is $3.40. Ball on points is $3.40. Huh. That's a nice pick. See, if you boys are picking Goodman not based on fight styles, and if you're taking Goodman because you're getting the $4.80, how would you reconcile then not taking ball by decision at $3.40? That's what I would tell Gary. If Gary's taking Goodman based off of what he sees in their styles and then the odds, I would then say, so you're taking Goodman on the money line, $4.80. You don't care, big, it's live dog. But that Sam Goodman, if you take him to win by decision and just remove the knockout, he's $3.40. So that's insane to me. Ball on points is looking good. What do you think about Maloney Vice versus Argy Cortez? Joel, I need to do my film study on Argy more. I might stay away from that. Andrew Maloney, mentally, he's retired multiple times, has a lot of miles on him, nowhere near his prime. Boxing fan, 40 viewers, 8 likes, cut the crap. Boxing fan's my manager, let's go. Good energy can transfer to your bets, right? Pedro Cabrales, because ball is very similar to Pitbull Cruz. You need power like Ryo or even like a Tank Davis, and I don't think Sam has that type of power. Huh. It's actually, you're not wrong there, Pedro, but it's not what I see how this plays out. Ryo is very different. Ryo's very different style than Sam Goodman. And Ball, I don't think Nick Ball and Pitbull are that similar, to be honest with you. When I look at how Pitbull, Cruz, and Nick Ball fight, I don't see similarities, other than they're both short. Nick Ball does a lot of more. I think Ball's aggression, his explosion, his explosivity, how he cuts weird angles, he throws punches at weird angles. His punch selection is different than Pitbull. I think if one was 5'7", one was 5'3", and their builds would be different, we probably wouldn't say the comparison. Julius, all of Ball's knockouts come against opponents in the 30s. Ford in his 20s lost a questionable decision. Pedro Cabrales, you need a very good uppercut to prioritize your jab as the path to victory against a reckless pressure fighter who goes through red lights. Yeah, you also need timing and power, though. You could have a good uppercut, on the back end of the lead jab. But, I mean, if you're just tapping and you're just tapping to score points, I mean, think about Nick Ball's high guard and how he comes in. That uppercut, that jab isn't going to break that guard. It's going to hit off the shoulders, hit off the arms, and Ball will just slip it. Ball will take, he's going to take the wrecking ball. He's going to take one. Goodman is elusive and quick on feet. My play 10.5. Hand Hirschfeld, the bookies think someone is getting stopped. I think so, too. Ball will absolutely smash me. I think so, too, BC. Mar the Prince, definitely interested to see what the Ball Goodman knockdown props are priced at. Yeah, right now, we're not getting them. All we're getting is will the fight go the distance? And we're getting, obviously, round betting and then method of victory. Ball by decision, plus 250. That's a good bet. I like the over 10.5 with Moses knockout. That's a good bet. I know. I already have Moses by knockout locked up. Moses by knockout, interesting. I think I got him at $1.20. DC, can you give my son amateur boxing a quick shout out? Yes, Ethan Cowles. Shout out to Ethan Cowles, young amateur boxer. Keep the chin down. Do your road work. Focus on your rest and recovery, nutrition. Keep your mind right. Read a book as well. Read the Book of Five Rings, Ethan. The Book of Five Rings was written by a samurai. It's basically his journal, Musashi. If you hear the quote that goes around in MMA boxing circles, a lot of the quotes are from that book. So there's one chapter in the Book of Five Rings about Musashi when he's older, and he's teaching, he was like one of the most efficient samurais of all time. And he's teaching the young students now, and he's older, he was a big believer of, and in order to be the best samurai, the most efficient killer, you had to know how to do poetry. You had to know how to cook. You had to know how to dance. You had to know how to love. And so one of his students said, Master, you teach us how to kill, but you also teach us, how to nurture. And Musashi's response was, it's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in the war. So if you've never heard that quote, it's from that book. Musashi was a savage. It's an easy read too. So if you're young, if you're even an old guy, I haven't read the Book of Five Rings, read it. It's a great read. History Vault, I'm picking Maloney. Yeah, I might stay away from it, history. I might just stay away from that bet. More the Prince, Johnny, not to digress, but did you see Elijah? Yeah, I did. I don't think it should be outlawed. Mar the Prince. It's MMA. No way. I mean, you got to see his opponent. One of the first things when you're, if they're in that situation, you never lock up. If you notice he locked his legs around, you drop your legs. I'm new here, but Gary's bet is the fight with Ball and Goodman as he goes the distance. What's up, Nate? Yeah, Gary right now, I know he's taking Goodman. I think he took Goodman on the money line, but I'm not here to say what bet he's taking. I'm just letting you know my picks. EV40, 40 ounces to freedom. Yep, there's good value with Goodman. I'm going to risk it. Roll the dice, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Cigar. Been loving that Goodman play. My boys think the same. If anything, he's going to fight going the distance. It's looking. Take it, Cigar. Victor Vallejo, Nick Ball, Moses, both knockout. Good bets. I'm not mad at that bet, Victor. Boxing fan. Welcome to the channel. Hit that subscribe. Guys, get access to the Discord. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, we're 23 minutes in. We've hit 21 bets in a row on UFC. Tomorrow there's a nice little card, Dana White Contender Series. I was 80% last year on those fights. These are guys fighting to get a contract. The only way to get my picks for Dana White's Contender Series, you have to join the Discord. It's linked in this stream. It's a couple bucks a month. Sign up on YouTube. Become a Johnny Says Boxing Insider. You see Boxing Fan has the star. Mar the Prince has the star. They're all in the Discord. You also become part of the community with all the pro bettors. You get our parlays, our bets, my locks of the week for boxing. High value, boys. High value. Another implication in Ball Goodman is how Sam's face folds up. How Sam's face holds up? Yeah, I mean, if you guys are thinking Sam's face is going to look like, because of the cuts, I don't know. It could be a factor. It's something to think about. What was the fight I'm thinking of? My guy at 154. Some of you guys were trying to compare Erickson Lubin. I don't think we're going to see an Erickson Lubin Sebastian Fedora scenario. Julius, what's up, buddy? Hrgovic versus Italy is ending early. Has not gone the distance in 5 years. Yeah. That's another one that everybody is so quick to jump on Hrgovic. I mean, I don't see much in Adelaide. He's younger. We'll see. It's another fight I might avoid. I'm going to give you my picks. I might not bet it. We'll see. We still have time. It's my Tuesday morning, your Monday afternoon in America. Victor, welcome, Johnny. Chat, big dubs. Let's go. Cigar, if the ref is good and Warren's ball, probably they'll have trouble. I don't think Nick Ball, though. Cigar. I don't think Nick Ball. If you follow him on Instagram, you watch how he speaks. He's not one of these boxers going in there thinking that I'm gonna make it dirty until the ref stops me, and if the ref starts stopping me, I'm gonna change. Nick Ball fights the way he fights. It's up to the ref to control what goes on there. He'll punch you in the thigh. He had the takedown in the one fight, but I mean, it's just his style. Some guys just make it look ugly. He wants to Ball wants to make it look ugly. Sam Goodman, he's gonna want to keep it clean. It's just that when you don't have power like Goodman, how are you stopping Ball's aggression? How are you preventing Ball from getting on the inside? Follow Mike TV. Mike Tyler on the house. Mate, appreciate the tip, brother, taking care of the channel. You see Mike Tyler, follow Mike TV. He's a pro fighter, 10-0. He got some fight news. We're sharing it on the channel. Appreciate it. Thanks heaps for the UFC parlay over the weekend. Help pay some bills. I sent you a message on Instagram. All right, I saw the message on our Discord. Mike, I'll get back to you on Insta. I have a lot of messages to get to, but I'll prioritize that message, man. And if it's involving your fight news, I'm going to share that message. But I appreciate you supporting the channel, becoming a member, and the tip, man. That helps me out a lot. All right, let me get to some of these messages. FX, my lock, Raymond 4 money line. I don't hate that. I like it. Nate in the house, DC, appreciate you. Pedro, Johnny, you might like this manga comic book called Vagabond. I don't know the comic book, but he talks about Musashi's journey. The Rogues, yeah. Pedro, that's exactly. So the Book of Five Rings is the real book. Victor, boxing fans, Julius, the more study, a sneaky big upset, a shot going the distance against the. Yeah, Tsutsumi. The odds right now, Julius, on Tsutsumi versus Shock is. I'm not getting him method of victory. Satsumi's $1. I'm staying away. Cigar, speaking of UFC, I'm looking at DDP moneyline. Cigar, we're getting there. Guys, my second live stream Thursday will be all UFC, by the way. So if you guys are new to the channel, I do 2 live streams every day. My Thursday second live stream, which if you're in America, it'll be your Wednesday night. I'm going to devote it all to the UFC. I hope there's no rig fights, corrupted judges, fingers crossed. CBD, flower reviewer. I don't like how much Hrgovic gets hit. Adelaide has the speed in this one, but his low output. Yeah, Adelaide's output low. Hrgovic, I mean, he's a dog. Been around for a while. Not as old as you guys think. Had a long amateur career. If you're not comfortable with the heavyweights, because you guys know those fights could end with one punch, stay away from it. Guys, we don't have to get action on every single fight. The guys I know who win the most money betting, who do it consistently, are the ones who are picking and choosing. Okay, so even on this stream and even on my Stats Don't Lie videos I upload on our fight prediction playlist, just because I feature a fight doesn't always necessarily mean I'm betting my money on that fight. Perfect example, UFC. One of the fights this past weekend that burned a lot of the guys I know their parlays was the C-Rod fight. He fought Andre Fili. I stayed away from it historically because Andre Fili, if you're his coach, one of the most frustrating guys to ever coach because he's so talented. And he's like historically over the last 10 years in the UFC, he's a win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win two, lose two sort of guy. So I never bet on Andre Fili. And then sure enough, C-Rod was the favorite and Fili fought like a true veteran. So my point is, if you don't like the action in the Hrgovic fight, don't take it. The more you stay on the channel, the more you talk to the boys in the Discord, the more you'll start seeing these patterns of when to jump on something, when not to. Ball to win 10-12. Supreme Nisu, what's up? I'm not a historical sort of better picking when the fight ends. I don't get that sexy, but I know some of you guys do. Ball to win 10-12 or 7-12. See, you're looking for Ball to win by stoppage then. Why not just take Ball by stoppage? The odds at that, $1.81. You know, you bet $100 on just Ball getting the stoppage anytime. You get your money back plus 81 bucks. You get sexy 10 to 12 or 7 to 12 just for the odds to be what, at 4 to 5 to 1, and he gets an early stoppage or you miss, you lose your whole ticket. So that's the way I look at it. I think Goodman can last based off his last fight with Aleem. He fought Aleem a couple fights ago though. I was at that fight. Aleem was smaller too though, and that was a war, and Goodman took a beating all the way to the end. I think the fight you should look at though, blue collar, with that reasoning would be Goodman versus TJ. Cortez or Samoa is looking like it's off. Really? There's no way it's off right now. Victor Vallejo, my man. I see Ball versus Goodman going like Duarte Sims. Julius, right? And what I said at the beginning of this live stream, I'm learning from my lessons. Look, guys, the one thing that I want you guys to hold me on is the more I think about it, when I say, oh, I'm going to take the underdog, I can't pass on those odds. And if I lose, oh, well, that totally contradicts my logical reasoning. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this for odds. I don't bet on odds. I bet because in what I see with matchups, disregarding the odds. The last thing I'm going to ever do is tell you guys to pick a dog just because I feel the odds are great. And if we lose, we lose. I like winning. I thought Kenneth Sims was going to be able to outclass Duarte. Once again, Duarte stepped a little bit of a level up, and he impressed me. He's been doing that since the Ryan Garcia loss, and hats go off to Duarte. I don't see Goodman being able to withstand the barrage for 12 rounds. I just don't see it happening. Omar, yeah, you're not the only one, brother. Omar said he got screwed on the C-Rod pick. That's the Andre Fili fight. And Omar, moving forward, I don't ever bet Andre Fili for that reason, ever. Go look at Andre Fili's topology and look at when he was the favorite, when he was the dog, how those fights go. It's almost like you're pulling your hair out, like, bro, like, yeah, I don't bet on him. Pico versus. There are some fights on this card, on this UFC ticket, that are going to really tough to call. So I have some of you boys on my Instagram sending me your UFC parlays and asking me my thoughts on it. And, you know, all I'm saying is it's tough to overlook. I know a lot of people are sexy on MVP beating Cannonier. Guys, the killer gorilla, even though he's 59 years old, Jared Cannonier's style, where he's still fighting at a high level, I wouldn't be so quick to jump on MVP at this time. Ruzabayev versus Battle. This is another one. So Ruzabayev versus Brian, and I'm a Brian Battle guy, but mate, watch Ruzabayev. It's a tough one to call. It's a real tough one to call, especially stylistically. Right now, I'm leaning with Ruzabayev, and Brian Battle is one of my favorite fighters to watch. Will you be doing a live stream for the Itama fight? My goal, Adu, is always to be doing live streams. It's just that generally where they land, the timing of it is on my Sunday mornings, and Sunday is my time with my girl. So I got to keep that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to keep. This is real rap. If I was a single dude, I would go live pretty much every day, every fight, because I love this. But I also love my girlfriend, and I love our relationship. I love our connection. I love our boundaries and commitments. So I value that as well. She's helped me learn that as well over time. Because when I was younger with ex relationships, I'd say one thing, promise one thing, and do the opposite. And the minute you boys, we lose that trust, especially in a relationship, it doesn't have to be intimate, it can be platonic with a friend. The minute that trust goes out the window, your word no longer matters. So I'll let you know. Brendan Veter, I always watched tape before. Picking odds, good boy. Boxing fan, don't worry, Johnny. I don't listen. Good boy, boxing fan. You're a beast. I could tell too, mate. I could tell. Joshua Heath can already tell November 22nd, Riaz. Josh, let's just go fingers crossed nobody pulls out. It's such a long time away, right? Guys, we're 34 minutes in, 48 people. We're flowing between 40 and 60 on the live. Only 19 of you liked it. Let's get the likes up. FX, my guy. What's up, buddy? I feel the same after a lot of losses on multiple parlays. I think betting big on one or two short parlays would be more. Yeah. Betting big with reason. But FX, if you're new to it and if you're slowly kind of trending in the way of getting confident in betting big, what I would then suggest is let's say you pick the number that in your bank account is betting big. and you're ready to pull the trigger, you're ready to do your tactical approach with smaller parlays, bigger bets, I would then half that amount and do the same short parlay and see if you win. And then if you do win, keep it and then roll that over into the next week. Mar the Prince had no idea Barbosa was still active. Was one of my favorite fighters when I actively watched MMA. Him and Aldo had. Yeah, I actually have interviewed Edson Barbosa before on the channel, Mar. He's on the playlist. So if you go down on my playlist interviews, my interview with Barbosa, I think it was from 2018. Yeah, that Edson Barbosa spinning wheel kick against Terry Edom. I was bartending in Las Vegas at the time. I think it was either 2011 or 2012. It was insane. And Terry Edom, man, he wasn't just a bum off the street. Terry Edom was a guy coming out of the UK. He was sort of projected as the next guy up in MMA in the UK, putting England on the map. And that knockout really derailed his momentum. It really had him in a tough mental space. A year later, he was found sort of walking the streets of London, like, you know, in a weird state. But I think everything I've heard from Terry Edom over the last few years, hopefully, I think he got his life back on track, and I think he coaches and does a lot of work with the young athletes. But the point here is, man, you never know what these fighters are going through when they get stopped or when they lose a big fight. That's why I never bash fighters. That's why you'll never. This isn't a channel to talk shit about fighters. This is a channel to dissect the sport that we love. Turkey Milkshake doesn't like back foot fighters. Goodman might schoolball, but the judges won't reward it. It's a point you got to think about, Julius. It's definitely a factor. Pedro, communication is key. Trust me. Yep. Boxing fan, happy girl, happy world. That's right. The chat's going off, boys. Sorry if I can't get to everyone. I hit on Matsumoto split. What did that pay? Damn, my Matsumoto split. That was a tough fight too. He was going up against a very tough veteran. Matsumoto, the kid from Brazil, right? Hooper by sub is my lock of the week. That's how he fights, Chase Hooper. You know what I mean? When you're looking at Chase Hooper, and you know, but Pedro, he has been falling in love with his striking as of late, and he's way more well-rounded than he's ever been. Chase Hooper is fighting. I don't know, man. Yeah, he's fighting Alexander the Great. I still remember when Alexander the Great, Alexander Hernandez, made his debut on short notice against Benil Dariush. And Dariush was ranked number 3 in the world, I think, at 55. And he stopped Benny in like the first round. It was insane. And everybody was like, dude, who is this kid? And Hernandez had all this hype. And then they paired him, I think, either the next fight or the fight after with Cowboy. And Cowboy fucking belt to ass. And then from there, he kind of just has been a win-one, lose-one sort of guy. I can see it happening. I think that's a good pick, actually, now that you think about it. Because Hernandez, the thing, you know, Hernandez has been submitted before. And Chase Hooper is a nasty, probably one of the best in the UFC. Especially MMA grappling. Transitioning it to jiu-jitsu to look for the sub. Because there's MMA grapplers, and then there's guys who will MMA grapple, use their stand-up to get into grappling situations, and then turn that into jiu-jitsu and then look for the sub. And, I mean, when you're thinking about a guy who blends all that stuff together, you're going to be hard-pressed finding somebody who does it better than Chase Hooper. And he's still so young. What is he, like 24? I remember he was fighting in the regional scene, I think out of Alaska. I'm a nerd, guys. I watch all MMA fights too. And he was like 17 or 18 years old. And taking a beating in this regional fight in Alaska, getting hit with pot shots, had no striking. And he ends up finding a sub in the second round. And he was a teenager then. Pulev versus Wardley in the work. Let's go, History Vault. Pulev versus Wardley. I'm in. Name value, this card is bad, but style-wise, it's going to be a great card. What's the fight you want to see the most this year? Is it Canelo Bud? FX Coaching, what's the fight I want to see? No, it's not. It's not Canelo Bud. I wanted to see Virgil versus Boots. I got to be honest with you. What's the fight do I want to see the most this year? Either Virgil versus Boots, or I wanted to see Shakur versus Tank. But we're probably not going to see it. Gasville, I hit a crazy slip over 3.5 for Anthony, double chance, sub points. Jocelyn looked good, boy. Panama. Jasmine, nice hit, Gasville. Dwayne Styles, happy Monday. Happy Tuesday for you, Monday for me. Let's start this week. Let's get it, Dwayne. I already worked out once today. David Iser, my man, where you been? Everyone is knocking on Boots' choice. Boots' opponent's tough. Yeah. And David, Boots' opponent, it's a good fight. 10 to 200. Nice, Gasville. Those are the bets we like. And Gasville, my advice is always, if it can pay a bill, pay the bill, deduct it. 200, $100, $200 could pay something. Chase is he's 25. Okay. Yeah, I've been watching. Chase seems like he's like 35. He's been in the game forever. And there was a time when, I think he had either lost his first fight or lost 2 in a row. And people were talking about, was it too much too soon? Did they rush him? And then I think he took a year off and he came back and looked phenomenal, and he's looked solid ever since. Got married, had a kid, I think when he was 21, just now, growing into his man physique. He's going to be a problem, and he's tough as nails. I prefer Shakur tail. Yeah, I guess I'm old head. I guess I'm still kind of stuck in 2022, 2023. Many people are betting on Canelo to win, but I feel Bud is a safer bet. What do you think? It's a tough one to bet, man. I might watch that one with just fan eyes, because I've been, I remember when Bud went to the UK to beat Ricky Burns at 135, and I was thinking, man, this dude is insane. Bud Crawford is the real deal at 135, and then watching him go up from 35 and then winning titles at 40 and then beating EJ at 47, and then seeing how he dealt with that massive problem that is Israel Madrimov stylistically at 54. So I'm a fan, and I don't want to, I got to be sure not to make a bet based on being a fan. And Canelo, one of my favorite fights I always talk about is that setup when he stopped Amir Khan in the middle of the ring. He set him up for like 4 rounds and walked him right onto that shot. So like I've been watching, Canelo versus Floyd. It seems like, is this the same Canelo? That's seemed like a different lifetime ago. And Canelo's younger than Bud. It's insane. I've been turned away from boxing. Good. Need a rest. Remember I told you I want to collab soon, Gasville? I've just been... Gasville, hit me up on Instagram, brother. Or Gasville, come to the Discord, brother. If you guys want to connect with me, go to the Discord. Because it not only connects with me and the community, it helps me out. Just got off work, but my sister hooked me up with an evil burger, about to crush it. Nothing evil, Dwayne, about a burger, because if we could get past the micronutrients and the bread and all the little add-ons, but proteins and fats are good, especially if you're training. Ray Ford gets a stoppage, make a statement. Let's see it. Fernando Vargas Jr. has a tough fight. I like that fight, Fernando Vargas Jr., Callum Walsh. That is a tough fight. Do you view the timing of Bivol surgery suspicious? I don't know if it's suspicious. Do I think Bivol needed the surgery? Do I think that he was being legit about saying that he's been fighting, a decade with an injury? I believe that. We know this, David, is most of you guys know that the most every fighter goes into the fight injured. You'd be hard-pressed to even find a fighter, probably any athlete, but just specifically fighters, who are healthy going into their fights. Everybody has something. A tweak in the knee, cartilage damage, nerve damage, a neck issue, a foot issue. The thing about these fighters, though, is they're so used to dealing with pain, having such a high pain threshold. You just fight through, you fight through, you fight through. And Bivol is at that age now in his mid-30s where, that pain threshold, those things start catching up to you. You're not, that framework, that recovery isn't the same at 25, as it is, when you're 35. Did you hear Lester versus Kurt Mitchell? Yep. I like people are hating on the undercard. I like that. I like Lester versus Mobility. That's a great fight. Mobility is, yep. Liked his fight last year. I wish people wouldn't be afraid to fight Derevyanchenko. That talk about a guy who's been iced out and frozen out. Do you think boxing is a violent version of chess as well, or am I tripping? Well, boxing is chess, but with real life consequences. You know what I'm saying? It's a perfect way of putting it. There's in time, real life consequences. What's next for Apatai? Seems to be wasting time in Cruiser. Fight everyone wants to see and can't get. I know. I mean, he's a big boy too. He could fight a heavy. I think he's just waiting around. There is rumors floating around, Adu, in Australia. I think you're Aussie, about him fighting at heavyweight, or Usyk coming down. Why not? Usyk come down at Cruiser, fight Apataya. Let's go. Dwayne Styles, bacon, cheese, pickles, nice meat, Pat. Come on, you're making me hungry, brother. Stop. History Vault, Don King 1, Pulev versus Hunter, WBA purse bid. That ain't no the WBA. Don trying to make Miller. Dude, the body snatcher. Fun long shot parlay, ball points, forward stoppage, DDP money line. What's that paying, Brandon? EV 44 ounces. Oscar Duarte had a motorcycle accident before his race fight. Didn't know that. Was that public knowledge? Mexico Monster or B-Vol? That's a whew. I don't know, it's a hard one to pick. Based off resumes, obviously respect for the game, I gotta side with B-Vol. You know, David's still young. What's David, 28, 29 now? Still young. Growing into his, only had a handful of fights at 74. We'll see. He has time to, he's still creating his legacy. B-Vol's legacy is already written. So right now, out of the respect for the game, I got to go B-Vol. You see the Boots fight? Yep. Pedro, B-Vol is off back-to-back training camps. He fought better beef twice. Ends in that 9-month period. Did you hear the Japanese bot? Yep, they're shorting the title fight. That should be the case. So Marlon Prince is making a point about what happened in Japan. Tragically, 2 fighters from the same card. And the crazy thing about that, Marlon Prince, is that Qatari and Arakawa fought each other last year. The 2 fighters who passed away fought each other last year. And the Japanese Boxing Commission is now changing the rule that non-title fights go 10 rounds, which it's a positive step. Johnny is life. Victor, you wild. Boxing is life. Let's go. Boxing fan, we fight the clock, time, work, pay, bill, life is... But yep, 100%. Mar the Prince. Andre Ward in a recent interview said he will entertain coming out of retirement to fight AJ at Wembley. Come on. I saw that, but Andre Ward, man. Everyone just wants the bag. I think what the thing is with Ward, he's been mentoring Bud and Shakur, Richardson Hitchens, and he's seen like this new money coming into the sport. And Ward, has been on record multiple times saying he retired. He, has all of his faculties. He did it because boxing needed him more as an analyst, needed him more as sort of a elder than they did as a fighter at the time when he walked away in his 30s. And I believed every word he said. But money talks. Also, these guys are the most competitive athletes on the planet, any fighter. So people change their mind. And then you have that competitive edge. You have that, you have fight week. You have media. You have the attention. You have the locker room. You have the hand wraps. You have the boys. You have the camp. You have the sparring. You have the announcer announcing your name. You have the walkout. You have the lights. You have the crowd. That's the addicting bit. And he misses that. He's only, that's what he misses. Let's get it. Do I watch tennis? No, I can't say. Last time I watched tennis was, I'm going to age myself here, was during the rivalry of Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi. Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi, Michael Chang, those guys. I was a kid. Plus 26, 36. Get after it, Brandon. A little $10 sprinkle on it. Dwayne Styles, Johnny is boxing. You guys are too kind. Supreme Nasu, what's up, buddy? He said he'd fight AJ a few times over the years. That's just an interesting thing to say. It's an interesting thing to say. I don't know, man. I don't like that fight. Boxing fan, you're too kind. Let's get it. Well, damn, I'm an old head. Let's get it. I'm old, 43. Last time I watched tennis was the 90s. Raw Dogs, so Boots fight Lima. Who the fuck is that guy? Yeah, Lima, to answer your question, he's 14-1. Lima's, 10 knockouts. His only loss was in 2023 against Aaron McKenna. Guys, we cover Aaron McKenna on the channel. Aaron McKenna fought a couple months back. He stopped Beefy Smith. He was an underdog. We won a lot of money. Aaron McKenna's a guy who's been traveling for sparring and fight camps since he was a teen, him and his dad and his brother. Aaron McKenna's a guy who has trained and done camps with Bomac. He sparred many, many rounds with Terrence Crawford over the years. Aaron McKenna, in my opinion, is a dark horse. He's a dog. He's one of the... I love watching him fight. So the kid Boots is fighting. His only loss came to McKenna, and it was by decision. And that was 2 years ago. So... it's a tough fight. It's a good fight. It's a good fight to step into 154. Mabela versus Martinez will be fight of the year. I can't wait for that fight. RG Cortez and fighting on. Yeah, I'm probably not betting on that, David. I think ESPN is still involved with boxing, despite the fact there's no more Top Rank. Did you guys see what Dana White announced though? The UFC just sold their streaming rights to Paramount, which means that in America you guys don't have to pay for pay-per-view anymore. Every UFC event, whether it's UFC this weekend, which is still behind a paywall, or fight nights, which take place at the Apex in Vegas, they're all free now. I don't know when that starts, but look into it. That news just broke. Dana White, for however you guys view Dana White, I always say, 2002, 2003, one of the biggest steals in American entrepreneurial history was when Dana White pitched to Lorenzo Fertitta to buy the UFC for $1 million. Fertitta and his brother were already multi-millionaires in the Las Vegas area. They have a third brother who's might be billionaire in Texas. Fact check me on that. So they had the money, they had the equity. They take the risk on Dana White's pitch. They buy the UFC in 2002 to 2003 for $1 million, and then they sold in 2015, 2016 for $4 billion. That's insane. And so they just sold now their streaming rights. I think the deal was for $7 billion. Something insane like that. That, though, is another reason why I feel that the UFC is they're kind of in a dark ages in terms of stars. Dana doesn't need to promote stars. Dana doesn't need to manufacture stars anymore. When you look at the cultural impact Ronda Rousey had on the game, and then right after Ronda we had Conor on the game. That put Dana and the UFC in a position to now do what they've done over the last 10 years with the $4 billion sell and then the $7 billion streaming sale. He doesn't need to manufacture superstars anymore. Because of that, and because of all of the fights every week, it's kind of just become one of these sports that you play in the background now. Who do you think about Boots versus Rashidi Ellis? I like that fight. Okay, there's a lot. You boys are killing the chat. I appreciate it. The chat's popping. Julius, I think Lima will win rounds against Boots. It's a tough fight. Yeah, 43, old head. FX, I got a tough question. Who do you think is the most underrated boxer, the most over? FX, underrated boxer of all time, overrated boxer of all time. Let me sit with that. I got to give the sport due diligence. Ask me that on a message, FX. FX, go to our Discord and message me that. Private message me that so I can sit with it. I'll give you a proper answer. Boots gets a lot of hate. Whenever you're that talented, you're going to get hate. Boots is one of my favorite fighters. Rashidi Ellis, mate. I want to see that fight. I want to see him fight. Can we get a fight? Boots versus Ramos, Jesus. We might see that. Just not now. I thought you were late 20. Yeah, it's all good, man. Skate and Review. They've been free on the flea market streaming box. Holla. For free. Yep. Check it out. Go to Dana White's Instagram right now. That's the Discord. Boxing fan. They got to get on the Discord, brother. All right, David, can this Limos guy box, though? Got to watch more tape on him. FX, actually, I want to see Bud Boots. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see that either. It's hard for me to see Crawford. It's hard for me to see Crawford fight after this Canelo fight. Is it? Just with, he said 4 years ago, when you look at his activity, he fought a lot up into, he was about 31, 32. And then once he was 30, and do you guys remember, he was almost pretty much getting frozen out by his promoters forever. It was almost like they were shelving Bud Crawford. And then, he gave an interview, and then he was like, yeah, by design, he was fighting once or twice a year to prolong his career. And then that Errol Spence Jr. fight was kind of like his first huge payout, which in his eyes, in any person's eyes, is probably never enough. You know what I'm saying? So this Canelo payout, I don't know, when it's all said and done, when they tie the bow on it and write all the checks, what it's going to be. But you'd have to question Bud's motivation. I don't think we're ever going to see Bud versus Boots. I don't think that's going to happen. I could see him walking away, win, lose, or draw as well. He has 7 kids now. He's a family guy. He seems to juggle all of it as well. You know what I'm saying? Like when you watch his Instagram, he's always going to all his kids' sporting events, the games. He's in the business. He has multiple properties. He has multiple investments. His portfolio is solid. He said like I think maybe 5, 6 years ago that financially speaking, he didn't really need to fight based off of his investments over the last decade. I don't know, take whatever you want from that. He doesn't seem like a guy who would front or kind of, you know, say something like that just to say it. And I don't know, man. He's 37. I think he's going to be 38 in November. I think this might be it for him. Guys, we're going on an hour. I got to wrap it up. I got a client I got to do. And stay tuned. I'm doing another live stream in a couple hours. I'm uploading my official Goodman versus Ball prediction. So I want to get you guys will see that. Hit the bell notification button, like this video, subscribe, come to us on the Discord, join our boxing community. Johnny Says Boxing Insiders. Click the link tagged here. It's a couple bucks a month on YouTube and you get access. I'll talk to you boys soon. Thank you guys. Thank you for the support.